How to muzzle train your dog. First, start by bringing the muzzle on walks or trips to the garden so that your dog associates the muzzle with nice things. Once you've taken the muzzle on a few outings with you and they seem comfortable with having the muzzle around, you can then start to put it on the floor so that they can sniff and interact and start to become familiar with it. You can also scatter some treats around it so that they start to associate the muzzle with food, which is a big motivator for dogs. After this, have the muzzle in one hand and some tasty treats in the other, and reward them for any interaction they offer with the muzzle at all. This can be anything as simple as looking at the muzzle and can be built up to them touching or targeting the muzzle with their nose. If your dog is struggling to interact with the muzzle, you can put a treat inside and allow them to take it. This helps show them where they need to put their nose and makes the criteria easier for dogs that may get a bit frustrated. Holding a treat on the other side of the muzzle will help encourage a dog to put their nose in it. You can then throw the treat away from the muzzle so that the dog brings their head back to the muzzle again as they come back to you. This builds drive for the dog to offer their head into the muzzle, and most dogs find it a really fun game, which helps to build a strong, positive association with the muzzle. Once they're offering their head into the muzzle confidently, you can start to deliver the treats through the muzzle to start increasing the duration that their nose spends in the muzzle. Putting some liver paste or cheese in the muzzle for them to lick off also helps with increasing the amount of time the muzzle is on their nose, as they have to keep their nose in the muzzle while they're licking it off. On top of this, they're a high value reward, so make muzzle training extra special. Once your dog seems happy to lick the cheese or liver paste from the muzzle, you can start adding in some movement. Put some cheese or liver paste in the muzzle and allow them to start licking it. As they do this, take a step back so that they have to walk towards you. Practicing stroking around their head and ears is a particularly important step for dogs that can be a bit head shy, as it builds their confidence with having your hands near their head. Once they are 100% happy with you feeling around their head, you can start pretending to do the muzzle straps up, but don't actually do them yet. If the muzzle has a clip, practice doing the clip up with the muzzle off the dog and then give them a high value treat. This will ensure that they associate the sound of the clip with something positive so that it's not frightening for them. This step is particularly important for dogs that are sensitive to sounds. Once they're happy with the sound of the clip, you can practice clipping the muzzle up around their neck without them having their nose in it, so that they can get used to the sensation of having something around their neck. You can then encourage them to walk towards you so that they start to get used to moving while wearing the muzzle. This step just separates the muzzle being in their nose and being around their neck. The goal is for them to be 100% relaxed and comfortable with the muzzle around their neck before you move on to the next stage. Once they are happy with the feel of the muzzle around their neck, you can start to practice doing the muzzle up. Start off very basic and simply put the muzzle on and take it off straight away. If they don't seem comfortable with you clipping it up, spend a bit more time on the previous steps to really build their confidence up, then try again. If your dog is struggling with wearing the muzzle for more than a few seconds, attaching a piece of lick mat to the inside of the muzzle can help to build the duration that they wear it for. You can then phase out the lick mat and start giving the treats through the muzzle instead. For some muzzles, it can be helpful to make a hole. Asking them to perform some of their favourite tricks while wearing the muzzle can also help to show them that the muzzle doesn't restrict what they can do. Once they're happy wearing the muzzle for slightly longer periods of time, you can start putting it on and calling them over. Slowly increase the amount of time or steps they have to take before getting a treat. Once they seem quite comfortable moving in the muzzle, you can have them wear it for short periods of times on walks. And once they're happy wearing it on walks, you can start to make it part of their everyday walks. It won't be long and your dog will act as if they're not even wearing a muzzle. Wearing a muzzle doesn't have to restrict your dog in any way, and they can still have just as much fun while wearing one. They can socialise with their friends and can even enable them to introduce themselves to dogs if this is something they've struggled with.